Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Doug back with American Addicts. Forget what you might feel or think about methadone treatment, if you're for methadone treatment or if you're against methadone treatment. My question is it fair that the patients on methadone are forced to go and stand in a line right now and get their methadone? Why are they not being taken better care of? That is my question. Please watch this. Hey everybody, again, this is Doug with American Addicts. Thank you for tuning in. Before I get started, I'm going to need help with this. I'm going to need you to pass this message along. So please hit that subscribe button. It's about equality and in human rights, I feel. Forget how you might feel about methadone and if methadone is good, if methadone is bad, if you're for it, if you're against it. Try to put all that aside. Any of your thoughts or biases, anything you might feel about methadone, it doesn't really matter what I'm about to talk about, even though I'm going to talk about methadone. Methadone clinics are considered, I have to look at notes here, are considered part of an essential businesses and they cannot close, which is a good thing that the state does consider them essential and they cannot close. But methadone clinics are special in the aspect that they're essential and they can close. They don't have to stay open. They can give the patients enough methadone for 2 weeks or up to a month so they can close. So in a respect, they're essential, but they don't have to be essential. It might be one of the only businesses that where it's essential, but it doesn't have to be essential. Now here's the part that's messed up. They don't want people leaving the house. They don't want people congregating in more than a couple people. The state's under lockdown, but yet they are making people come to methadone clinics to get their methadone, stand in lines, even though, okay, they make people stand a couple feet apart from each other, but they're also making people still go to groups. This is what I've heard, that they're still making people go to groups, no more than 10 people in a group. That's 10 people in a small room confined for a period of time. That's absurd, ridiculous, and should be illegal when there's no need for it. This is unprecedented. There's no protocols for this, for what's going on with the coronavirus. But yet, people that are on methadone because they're trying to help themselves are being forced to stand in line with people that they don't know. They're trying to put distance between them, but come on, does that really help? And they're trying to wipe things down. No, come on. That's why the state has us on lockdown. They don't want people out of the houses. But they refuse to give people methadone specifically enough to keep them home for a couple weeks or a month, unless you've been there for a year or two. If you've been there for 3 months, 2 weeks, it doesn't matter right now. This is unprecedented in the country and in the world. You should just get your medicine and go home for the month. You shouldn't have to worry about coming in and bringing the germs home to your family, to your loved ones, to family members that might be older and more susceptible to this virus. Now here is another interesting fact that people just don't even talk about. Coronavirus affects your lungs, the COVID-19. Now, I hope I'm right in that. I'm not nowhere near, know much about this except for that. I would say this is not a fact. This is my estimate. that between 95 and 99% smoke cigarettes. That means their lungs are already damaged and they're more susceptible to being chronically infected, not just coming down with the virus, but getting it more severely because their lungs are damaged. So you're putting people in harm's way that don't need to be in harm's way. Now, I have a quote here. Stick with me for 1 second. This is from Pinnacle Treatment Centers. They own 9 methadone centers, clinics in New Jersey. One being in Pennsauken, Del Val, down in Vineland, one down in Vineland, and several others, and 9 others in the state. This is a quote from the Vice President of Pinnacle Treatments of Opiate Treatment Services. 1 second. His name is Holly, I don't know how to say the last name, Broke. BROCE. Okay? And this comes from NewJersey.com. I will leave the link in the description of this video. So you know I'm not making this up. You can check this out for yourself, that it's on NewJersey.com from a day or two ago. It's a quote from the Vice President, Holly, BROCE, Vice President of Opiate Treatment from Pinnacle Treatment Services. He says, under federal law, we are permitted to dispense up to 30 days, but most patients choose not to do that. They like being with staff and like being accountable. So he's saying, end quote, he's saying that patients would rather come in than get take-home bottles. And then he goes on to talk about phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, where you get to earn your take-home bottles. Well, that should be all put to the side right now, the phases, because there is no protocol, like I said, and no steps, no protocol in place for this. So, like he says, under federal law, they are allowed to dispense 30 days worth of medication. But he says the patients don't want it. Is that... I was on methadone several times. I'm not on it now. But I understand methadone. I feel for the patients. And if I was on methadone right now and I had to go stand in line, I don't know what I would do. The patients are forced to do something they don't want to do. It doesn't make sense. The state says we're under lockdown, but then they're saying methadone is essential business, so they can't close, which is great. You know, under circumstances, to know that that's an essential business and they can't close during state of emergencies so people can get their medication. Okay, great. But if people who are more susceptible to coming down with the coronavirus and COVID-19, because they might have family members at home or young ones at home, they should be allowed, no matter how long they've been there, 2 weeks minimum, 30-day supply of take-homes. And like I said, this doesn't have to do with if you are pro-methadone or against methadone. This is just human rights and equality of the human. People on methadone deserve the same rights that any other person does. It saddens me. It makes me sad. You know, and the people on methadone, they're trying to get their life together, and a lot of them, they need it. Hey everybody, I just got done editing and watching the video that you just got done watching, but I felt the need to add two more things that are very important that kind of wrap it all up and bring it together. State doesn't want us out around people. They want us isolated from each other as best we can. Well, methadone is making people come together in groups just like you would do in a McDonald's. But you can't go to McDonald's or a restaurant to sit down and eat because they don't want people in close proximity. Who is against doing this? The other thing is, if you are against this idea, why? Why are you against this idea? I can't think of one negative thing that can come from this. That who can tell me the downside to what I'm talking about? If I'm missing something, please tell me. So this is Doug with American Addicts.